What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Disaster Chess, and a lot of progress this week. We're almost breaking the 600 ELO, and last time we were just breaking 500. So this week I've had a really good streak of winning a lot. I want to show you guys where we're at. If we take a look at things here, most of my recent games have been wins outside of a few. So my highest has been 592, I believe, for rapid scores. We're now at 583, so a few more games we're going to be breaking the 600. Today is going to symbolize the battle for the 600 rating there, and 826 in daily, which I also play with a lot of people. So let's get into it straight away. We'll look for a game here. We'll go to our chess scene. Let's find a 10-minute game, and I'll talk to you about a few of the things that I've been trying or that I've been learning this week. One very cool thing is that we now have a channel in the Discord where we talk about chess. We have some rivalries going on. It's a lot of fun. And we've been playing chess with each other in a group, people watching, and then discussing the analysis afterwards. And really, I think it's one of the ways I've learned the most in all of this. So whenever we have these like weird sort of intimidating openings, we don't really shift much of what we do, because ultimately they're pushing pawns, we're pushing pieces, right? So we're developing our pieces, whereas our opponent isn't. It's totally dormant there. This bishop is blunted. It's just kind of a very weird position, and there's a very weak square here, which is a natural development spot for our bishop. He does protect it with his own horse, of course. We don't have to jump into this straight away, but I think we will. I think we will try to claim this spot. If he takes, we take back with bishop, and okay, now we have a nice outpost for our bishop, supported by this pawn here, and the first thing that jumps to mind is we have to support this this pawn more. Now with this attack, we have a few options on how to tackle this. We could actually just push this pawn and look to have our knight come this way. So I think we're going to do that. Now, if takes, right, it doesn't worry me too much. Opens an avenue for our bishop, for our rook. I'm saying all the pieces wrong again. I'm so sorry. It's been a long day at work. So he has to slide his bishop all the way back. It's terrible for him, right? We continue developing, right? We got a nice pawn chain with a bishop at its spearhead. It's very, very fearless formation here for us. And I think the best way is for us to now have the full-on hat experience here, and we can now bring out our bishop. I'm thinking this is the best spot we can do it in. We'll go like this. What is happening, guys? No pieces have been developed. This is Nejatis from Turkey, my dude. Look, maybe maybe joke's on me. Maybe you'll make it work, but it doesn't seem very good. Does not seem very good, I have to say, right? We'll see what happens. My idea now is castling, potentially bringing out the queen. If we decide to bring out the queen here, is there some kind of punishment? Sure, he can go here, but then we can advance. You know what? We're gonna go a bit aggro. We always have to be very careful with the queen. The queen, as Daniel Natrudiski, sorry, I always blunder his name, but Daniel, the GM, says the queen is a supporting actress in your act, right? You don't always want her in the front lines like this, unless you're really delivering a killing blow. But in this case, it gets the king to move, and we don't really hate it at all, I don't think. There is even this like fearless move here, which I don't know how or how he would punish it, but we don't have to rush it, right? The way I see it, if our queen is nice and safe, we don't have to rush until we have like a well-planned attack, really. Don't want to jump our guns. We don't have all our pieces out yet in a position where they can help. We want to look into bringing our knight in, potentially this way. And once we have our pieces kind of positioned, we will try to open the center up, because right now it's a mess, of course. Okay. How do we look to exploit this really underdeveloped position? Well, we now open the center so that our pieces can shine. I think that will be the way. And I'm looking at the queen side as our main avenue of doing that, potentially. So this move jumps to mind, perhaps, or this. So in prep, let's push this pawn here, and then we can look to do something like this. Moving the queen here is actually possible, but I'm very afraid of getting her stuck in enemy lines, and I don't have an attack clear in mind yet. So if we go here, can the king even go anywhere, guys? Is this like a really good move, actually? He could block with the queen, which he actually brings out the queen and kind of does. Now, if we go here, there's no way to recover the bishop, so that's not going to work out. He's potentially thinking of going here. So, in preparation to that, I am thinking we want to set up this prophylactic move that kind of discourages him from going there. The other possibility would be coming out here. That may be what he's thinking. We want to go here now with our pawn. Kind of break up the center a little. This bishop is the saddest bishop ever, right? It's totally blunted. Let's go here. And something has got to give in this wall of pawns of his. He decides to sort of keep the center fairly closed by doing that. But we can probably keep going. The only problem is that we don't have any support for this square. So can we provide any support for this square while also improving our position in general? I'm not too sure, but this move I feel will help us if we're able to vacate this file. Let's say that we happily take here. Even though we're not controlling the square, him taking doesn't necessarily put us at risk because there's nothing in these squares. And we now open up a file. It could be a strong avenue of attack here. And I am thinking in the direction of going here. If takes back, and we have the rook potentially backing our other rook, right, for a strong attack. And the queen coming from this side can also help with the attack. That combined with this diagonal of the bishop seems pretty strong to me. So this doesn't actually threaten anything. I can bring out my second rook. And if we now just take this for free, well, it won't be for free now. He would take back. We could look at taking back again, but we wouldn't really end up on top of that. Instead, I'm thinking we dislodge this rook. This rook, remember, he might as well not have a second rook. Will not play chess in a long while. You still have to worry about the rook in that position. But now we can just take his rook. And sure, he can take back with king, but we're very happy with that trade overall. And not only that, guys, but now there is this. His king has to move away. We have a very strong spearhead here. And the threat of the queen coming in. And now, guys, now we're skewering his queen. He has to move his king. And we can take his queen. Sure, we lose our rook. There may be a play where we don't lose the rook. You know, I'm not yet at a stage where I'm like super proficient at these moves to do the optimal thing. But I'm very happy with that exchange, right? Very, very happy. And now we can consider something like checking here at some point. Let's keep provoking some reactions here. So, okay, it's fair. I think that at this point we want to take that free real estate, because if the bishop is gone, all of a sudden this square is weak, right? Okay, interesting. We can now go here with the thinking that if takes, his rook is going to be really, really screwed. And this bishop is also vulnerable for the taking if the king moves away. So let's see what he does here. It's looking good for us. We should think about bringing in our knight. Now, we can take for free. It's a free chungus for us. What is this knight thinking of doing? If he goes here, we take. If he goes here, doesn't seem like he can do much. But I could, of course, be wrong. Is there any benefit from us going rook here and then approaching with the queen? That seems highly desirable. There is also the opportunity of using our bishop here to dislodge the knight. We can also go here. Lots of options. I think we will do this. And we have 4 minutes left on the clock. He has something like 5 minutes. We are talking a lot, so we do have to watch the time. And we need to now start to deliver a decisive blow. The bishop is not really challenging anything for us. So now the knight is pinned and we're x-raying the king. If we're able to just make this move, could be pretty deadly. Although the king can go to this square here. Now, is there a way we can block that square? Okay, well, he's moved into a different direction, so we don't have to think about that necessarily. But now there is takes. And now his options are quickly running out, it feels. I just need to find a pattern that leaves him without options. If we go here, he still has some options, but I think ultimately it's the right call. So we'll keep pressuring him. He's also likely to make mistakes as time continues to run down. So now we have him pretty stuck. And by the way, I just realized we had blundered our rook. He could have just taken this. And sure, we can recover it with queen, but I would not have liked it at all if that had happened. Wouldn't have been good. And now there's mate. Isn't it mate? No, it's not mate because he can bring his bishop to block. But then we just take and that's mate. So I think that's going to be a decisive win for us here today. And oh, resignation. Okay. Well, very interesting. Let's do a very quick analysis of the game there. We'll take a look at, if there's anything we could have done either differently or better. Real quick. But a very, very decisive win. It felt like we were in control most of the time. So it's a fairly normal opening for us. This is the only thing. I decided to take that little outpost there because it is very well supported, right? It's got 2 defenders from us. So he takes. It's a very interesting question. Why did I not take with the pawn? Because I want to build a pawn chain, right? And the piece is just more versatile because it can go back and forth. So that was my thinking there. Nice to have that spearhead in the form of the bishop. Now here I decide to commit to a pawn chain. He goes all the way back, which is very unfortunate for him. At this point, still, remember, no pieces, right? And this is why he pays the ultimate price later on, because none of his pieces have been developed. Now we go here. And we make his king move. Did he have any other options, by the way, besides moving his king? he could have, if he goes here, we can simply take, right? And we're still, the check is still there. So it actually doesn't solve it for him. Now we castle. He's committed to this weird like pawn wall, which we're going to eventually break. The queen comes out slightly, gets activated. This bishop just never got to play chess, and neither did his left rook. This rook also very sad. This bishop totally buried under the rubble too. This doesn't do anything for him, and now we're starting to open an avenue here with the idea of pawn to the d file and opening this for us. Now he takes. It's not a good move because there's nothing it's attacking. There's nowhere it can go. So in my book, he just did our bidding for us. As Daniel, the GM, says, we double up on our rooks here for a pretty strong attack. And the thinking is trying to dislodge this rook. I was assuming he would just move it away, but instead he moves it in right into our bishop's gaze, and we grab it. We grab that Chungus. This move is also pretty poor from him. Now the king is in disarray. It's just in chaos. And this is an amazing skewer as well. We're x-raying the queen through the king. The moment the king moves away, we grab that Chungus. Sure, we lose the rook, but we're, you know, insanely ahead in material right now. And he is just so stuck. Look at this. It says +9, but he might as well not have these pieces. These pieces have not played chess all game, right? And his king doesn't have a lot of maneuverability either right now. So the engine doesn't like this move, of course, and I do see that this move here is way better, the E1 move. But again, at this level, you can 100% get away with not making the optimal move as long as it's, you know, simple chess, solid chess. You can still get wins, as you can see here. So the bishop moves away, and with that, we close the grip there. We take the knight, and we try to corral the king towards the corner of the board, which is where a lot of easy tactics work. And now we got the ladder mate lined up, right? We just need to get our queen to the back rank, which I see now I could have just done this as the engine shows me, but in my time of panic, you know, I did this, and that's okay. He could, at this point, the only move allowed to him is this, but this is already checkmate again. So very solid game. I'm very happy to see some results from all the studying and practice puzzles and all that, and also very happy to play with all the people in the Discord. If you want to play with us, we're playing quite almost on a daily basis there, so feel free to join the Discord. There's a link in the description, and I hope to see you there. Otherwise, I'll see you next week for the next episode of Disaster Chess. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.